Hello, you legendary friends. I'm so honored to be with the amazing Naomi J. How are you today, Naomi? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm really well. How are you?
I gotta say, I loved our Zoom meeting that we had before off camera. Didn't we cover some legendary ground?
Oh, we did. It was so productive and really helpful.
Now, Naomi, I just got to say, hasn't it been crazy times? Where I'm in a lockdown in Sydney, you're in a lockdown in Melbourne. What's it been like for you and your community?
Yeah, look, it's pretty taxing, I must admit. Very, very different to the lockdown we experienced last year. Here in Victoria last year, we had 14 weeks of lockdown.
Wow.
This, yeah, which is crazy. And it was obviously a lot longer than what we're experiencing now. But this year, the lockdowns have been, I guess, really unexpected
Hmm.
without warning. You're thrown into lockdown, and the latest one, which we're in, it's kind of had no end in sight. And
Hmm.
whilst we've semi got a roadmap, I think it's very difficult to sort of navigate it because it's so far away. Whereas last year we had a clear roadmap out and we hit those milestones, and everybody was really positive mentally moving forward. Whereas this time it's just taken a huge hit on everyone's mental health. And I find that probably more so in business as well, just talking to clients for sure.
Absolutely, and I think because we're lucky in Sydney. What's interesting is that this only came out a few days ago, mind you, but we're actually coming out of lockdown Wednesday, the 11th of October. So
Oh,
we've actually got a firm date now.
that's fantastic. That's so good. And yeah, I think Victoria looks to New South Wales and we go, okay, well, you're hitting your milestones. We're not that far behind. Hopefully, we're just going to follow suit a couple of weeks later. But in saying that, we have different powers that be, and we're doing things differently, and each to their own. But I think what I've struggled with is that Australia for me has always been a really united community
Yep,
as
absolutely.
Australians. And that's what Australians pride ourselves on, is that we have a really unique culture that is multicultural. And we pride ourselves on being united and very welcoming and open. But this lockdown, and these series of lockdowns, for the very first time, I think, has plotted the states against one another. And it
Absolutely.
and it's I think that's adding to people's mental anguish,
Yeah.
and it's really difficult.
Yeah, and I mean it's absolutely crazy, and I've seen it as well, and I think it's also interesting that what I really love is how a lot of people are pushing back. A lot of people are really pushing back on this, and
Yeah.
interestingly, I know business wise, Naomi, you've absolutely kicked butt lately, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
and the obvious question is that, and so have we, by the way, but this isn't about me, this is about you. But during a global lockdown, you're growing and succeeding. That's pretty cool. Not many people are pulling that off, Naomi.
It is, I'm incredibly grateful because of it. It's given me the opportunity to work with a really diverse, broad section of the community of business owners, both in small, medium, large businesses that are finding they have more time, obviously, to really put the magnifying glass over their business. But they're really, this time round, so last year was a lot of rebrands
Mm,
and I guess reworking the business branding. This year, it's really a lot more innovation. So really going, okay, well, we're not just looking at the branding part, we're looking at strategic programs, how we're going to roll them out with a real clear future vision and how they're going to evolve that over a period of time. So it's really going to take them for a longer journey, which is really great. I love it.
mm. Yeah, I think the reality is, and this is what dawned on me, because as you know, I've got a lot of inside information, right? I have a lot of intel that's not available to the common public. And I've always been the negative guy so a lot of people will go, oh, phew, we're out of lockdown. And I'd be the guy that always walked in saying, I wouldn't be too relaxed. You're going to go back into lockdown soon, right? I've
Yeah.
always been the guy saying that. And unfortunately, well, it's not that I'm correct. I've got good intel.
Yes.
And the bit that I find interesting, I couldn't agree with you. I think people are now being more savvy. They're like, hang on, lockdowns are going to come and go for a long time. I can't
Yeah.
just stop praying for the end of lockdown anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I think business has changed and evolved in it to a completely different way. So what we thought was the normal way of conducting business is now completely turned on its head. And if anything, I think as business owners and professionals, we've now learned to really think outside the square, think that anything is possible. You have to be really open to innovation and go, you know what? There's going to be new things happening all the time, new technology coming up all the time, and embracing it and going, okay, well, if this is the way going to be the new way, let's explore that. Let's look at it rather than going, no, I'm going to do this. This is the way I've always done it. And, because that cookie cutter approach is not going to get you ahead now. And I
Yeah.
think that's clearly been more broadly accepted by the professional community. And we've gone, okay, let's be more open. And also, I think looking at the services and the products that you provide, some things have just become extinct at the drop of a hat. And you go,
Yeah.
okay, wow, this is not going to serve my audience anymore. What can I do? How can I change my business? Can I merge with another business? Can I look at things differently? And so that's the game changer between those who are going to succeed and move forward and those who are unfortunately are going to fall short.
And I was going to say, what have you done personally? What changes have you personally made? Because obviously you're winning, and I absolutely commend you for that. What have you personally done to keep you winning while a lot of people aren't tragically winning?
Well, I think definitely for me this year, jumping onto LinkedIn and becoming, I guess, more front and center on LinkedIn and really driving my marketing through LinkedIn and learning from yourself and Lassie and the community has really taught me I need to be the ambassador for my own brand and my own business. And that's now what I teach my clients, because if you're not front and center, people want to get to know the person behind the business. So, and I have found personally that by doing that, I'm not only growing my following, I'm also expanding my network. And I'm finding people on LinkedIn, random people, but really forming such strong connections that now I've got a broader team approach. And I've always looked at networking from a team approach, not really referral based, because I feel like the referrals and the business is just an outcome. It's just a result of networking. But if you put really a lot of time and effort into networking in a really positive way, and picking out those key people who, being very selective, because you have to be. I don't just sort of connect with anyone as such. Take the time to build relationships. I think that's what it's about. That's I think moving ahead, because we're in an online environment. If you want to grow your business and grow your network, that's a really great way to do it.
It's interesting, and just connecting, and we've spoken about this many times off camera. A parallel between us is that before you and I went into LinkedIn and the modern world, you and I were both very successful networking leaders in the real world. So I guess in a way, we've translated our real world success into the LinkedIn Zoom universe.
Absolutely. And whilst a lot of us don't like the online, I guess, Zoom environment, you have to take the bull by the horns and change your way of thinking again, and try and adapt it for the best way possible, because we are going to come out of this. And when we do, the face-to-face is just going to be that much more enjoyable and that much more connections and relationships being made because of what we've learnt online. Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, on that note, so I'm in Sydney, and I've had my double shots and all that.
Yeah.
And
So have I.
basically, they've said is again, I'm not trying to be political here, but I'm going to sound very political.
Yeah.
Well, if you've had your double shot, pretty much lockdown starts to end for you on October the 11th, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And
It's
so,
gonna be the same here, you know? That's
yeah,
like you're saying it's going to be the pandemic of the unvaccinated, isn't it?
yeah, which is another conversation, which is not the
Yeah.
point of this discussion. But where I was going though is so we don't get into trouble and upset everyone,
Yeah.
right? But where I was going though is that it looks like, and this is a safe bet, I think I'll be able to fly interstate in November. I think it's very possible, right?
Awesome.
And of course, I'm on a fly to visit you in Melbourne, fly to you in Queensland, and of course, I need to get myself to Canberra as well. Now, the reason why I bring that up is I agree with you because I'm looking at travel. But when I was traveling pre this lockdown, I was very ho hum about it. Well, now I'm looking at it in a very different light, and I'm actually absolutely pumped to do some face to face networking soon.
Oh, I am so excited. I really love it. And I know, look, there's going to be, and there was earlier in the year when we came out of our lockdown and we started doing our face to face networking again, there is going to be that hesitation. But I think, there's a level of assurance that's going to also come about, trust and respect, I
Mm,
think, in the networking face to face environment. Absolutely. And I think people will find their passion for it again.
mm.
Definitely. Yeah.
Couldn't agree with you more. I just say it's very cool. Now, I'm just going to say as well, I mean, tell us a little bit about what you do. I mean, you're a networking leader, you're a designer. Tell us a bit about that and what the sort of work that you do in case anyone's interested in hiring legendary Naomi.
Sure. I'm a brand designer and advisor, and I've qualified graphic designer for over 25 years. I've owned my own business since 2005, so going on 16 years now. And it's gone from strength to strength. And I think if you're a business owner who's been in business for that amount of time, you're used to the waves of business success and being able to change it up in terms of your marketing, and I guess the services that you provide. And I think for myself, I have a real love of learning, so learning technology and innovation. And I also pride myself on having a really strong team. So whilst yes, my business is just myself, but I work with key people in who are experts in their own field to create a team for my clients to go to. So as a result, I've become the go-to person that my clients contact because they know that I have a really solid team. And so I'll often get contacted and say, who do you know who does this? Who do you know who does this? Can you recommend this person or that person? And it's really wonderful to be known as that.
Mm,
Um, I offer branding. So I'm all about consistency in branding. So business branding. So which starts, business branding is not about your logo, but that's definitely one of the foundational parts of branding. So it's logo design, but it's all designed for both print and digital, and for all different platforms and applications. So, it might be your, what am I saying? It might be your vehicle signage, your business signage, to printed documents, to, your LinkedIn banner, your Facebook page, your Instagram page, all sorts of different things. So I think that as a business owner, you've got to look at so many different components in branding because I take, for example, your business card is sometimes a lot of people would disagree with me. That's okay. That's controversial.
yeah, but
Um,
they're wrong and they don't know what they're doing and they're sexist and racists
well,
piece. Yeah.
if you're doing face-to-face networking, right, you need a business card. Okay. So people often will give out a business card, and I find it's like the landing point to
Yeah.
jump off from. So
Yeah.
it will lead people off to all your different channels and platforms. And if they go to those places and the branding isn't consistent, it's unprofessional, but it also starts to lose trust
Yeah.
with your clients, and then they go, well, I really want to engage with a brand designer who knows what they're doing. And
Yeah.
because I think as a brand designer, I've got to walk the walk and talk the talk
Oh,
and represent
yeah.
my business the best way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, look, I also have learnt, in the last couple of years to, I guess, pick and choose who my ideal clients are. There are particular types of people I think that I really, really want to work with, and I think business relationships should go both ways. It
Mm.
should benefit the client, but it should benefit me as
Yeah.
well. And I'm not afraid to say that now, because I
Yeah,
believe,
it's got to be
yeah,
win-win, right? Why do
it's
it?
got to be win-win because it's the ingredients for a really successful outcome for the client,
Mm.
and it also is the ingredients for a really long-term relationship, and that's what I'm looking for. So
Uh,
yeah.
Legendary. I just want to say as well, big thank you to all our viewers. If you've just come in, like, share, and
Yeah,
comment.
thank
We
you.
love you all. Feel free to say hello in the comments. And so I was going to ask you then, Naomi, ask you to where to from here? What are some of your future moves? What are you cooking up in the kitchen, Naomi? What's coming? What can you let
Um,
out of the bag?
well, yeah, I think behind the scenes, look, I am really loving building my network on LinkedIn. I think for me personally, that's where I've decided that's where my marketing is going to evolve. So I'm building a community of like-minded professionals who are, all interested in the values of branding and branding education, and obviously all sorts of different things. But I guess for me, for my business, I'm also behind the scenes madly writing an online course or courses eventually, so that I can start to actually make an impact and help people in various different ways about branding, and that they can actually implement themselves in their own business.
Naomi, absolutely
Mhm.
legendary. So love having you with us. And
So,
I just want to say before I let you go, I know you're a busy lady and you got to go back to being dangerous, and it takes a lot of time and effort to be dangerous, right? What closing thoughts or ideas do you want to impart on our legendary friends across the world before you go back to being dangerous?
uh, look, I know that people have become really fatigued with the
Mm.
online platforms of networking, but I just really want to highlight the fact of the benefits of it. And I know that you can become tired, but I think if you allow yourself to focus and just give a little bit more time to it, it can really flourish. And you never know who you might meet. That's
Oof.
the thing. And I think that that's really awesome, because who's around the corner? It could be your biggest referral that you've ever had for your business. So the benefits of networking are just gold.
Oh. Naomi, love your work. And to our fans across the world, if you're watching this live or the recording, make sure you follow Naomi. Naomi, it's been so good having you with us as always.
It's awesome, awesome to be part of this community. And yeah, my life has changed since I've met Lassie and Ed. So please become part of the community. We would all love to have you, and join us in our meetups all around Australia,
Mm.
especially because they're all online at the moment
Mhm.
during this pandemic. You never know who you might meet.
Naomi, what a great plug. Thank you, everyone. Love your work. Thank you, Naomi.
Okay, bye.